We're at the oracle at Delphi. And around me are ruins of the various treasuries that the different areas of Greece would keep here to display their wealth. This stone here is a reproduction of a sacred stone, actually reproduced by the ancient priests as part of a paying respect. It was called the Omphalos, which is a stone that had fallen from the sky, said to be flung here by Zeus himself to mark the centre of the globe. Originally it was covered in a wool covering which was atop by two golden eagles. It's interesting to consider the comparison between the golden eagles that were at the top of this sacred stone and the two angels at the top of the Ark of the Covenant. Likewise, anyone who studies Indian tradition will be thinking of the Shiva Lingam and some of the comparisons there. Now, this stone was originally held further up here, where the Pythoness would sit to give her clairvoyant predictions. There we are, just up there, that's actually the temple of Apollo. She would chew on the sacred laurel and she would inhale smoke from its burning, and some say there were natural fumes from the earth here. The stone you see before you here is known as the Sibyl Stone, and this is actually where the first prophetess here was said to predict the fall of Troy. And it's said that this is where it all started. Now, if you look at the wall here, you can see that it's been put together with great craftsmanship, almost in a way that we would relate to crazy paving. And it's the only wall like this in Greece and has become very famous. Now, on a site here where many of these sacred objects are no longer present, this area in front of you was called the Threshing Floor, and this was where once a year a reenactment of Apollo slaying the Python would appear. That plinth contained or rather standing on that plinth, originally the Sphinx stood. The Sphinx in question actually had a woman's face, a lion's body, and the wings of an eagle, and was seen as a protecting figure, but also as a representation of the divine attributes combining with the highest human and highest animal, which is something all Hermetic students would appreciate. Somewhere over here, I can't actually find the trace, there were some steps whereby a young boy would invoke Apollo and he would take offerings. This area up here we're about to visit has been used for a very long time, in fact. So this is certainly a sacred place which goes beyond the Greek tradition. Originally, the prophetess would be here on the 7th day of the 7th month, but as things progressed, there was a lot more demand, and in the end she was here on the 7th day every month, and other forms of divination took place on all the other days. So we're about to finish the walk and sit where the Pythoness once sat. Okay, Kitty, are you ready to ascend?
Yeah, let's go, shall we?
I would like to share before we actually go to the sanctuary is that this place has a very different feel to other sacred places. We think of the Greeks as great philosophers and sometimes perhaps more focused on the mind than anything else. This place has a feeling of total harmony with nature. It is tremendously peaceful. It has a very gentle, healing feel to it. Almost like just being here could bring around inspiration and recovery. It has none of the foreboding power that the Egyptians have at their sanctuaries.